Hi, friend. Welcome to another episode of In the Unfolding of Becoming. I'm your host, Erica. Last week, we sat down with April and she shared her unfolding with us, which is one of going from viewing ambition and drive as something that requires a lot of grit and grinding to looking at ambition as something that can lean on flow and centeredness. If you haven't listened to her episode yet, I encourage you to do so as she shares her story very vulnerably, very openly, and gives some really tangible tools that are helpful to implement while going through an unfolding. On this week's episode, I want to talk about something that I've been giving a lot of thought to, which is the architecture of choice. When I say the architecture of choice, I'm talking about choices that have a long-lasting impact on the trajectory of our lives. When we make those decisions, I think we all go into making them with the intention of building a life that feels aligned. Yet I have found that it is very easy when we are making decisions to build what I would consider to be a bunker versus a home. A bunker, as you know, is a structure built entirely as a defense mechanism. It's designed to keep you safe from a threat that might actually never even happen. But today, I want to challenge us to stop building bunkers and start building homes. A home, on the other hand, isn't just about survival. It's about vitality, vision, growth. This came up for me recently because I had to make one of those important decisions that would have an impact at least for the next 5 years of my life. And when I sat with making the decision, I realized that I was letting fear drive my decision making versus my sovereignty. I was afraid that if I didn't grab a safety net now, the future might leave me exposed to threats. I was trying to build a bunker because I was negotiating with a future threat that might never even happen. So I had to ask myself, am I choosing this because I want to live in it or because I'm trying to hide in it? We see this bunker mentality show up everywhere. See if you recognize yourself in any of these circumstances or unfoldings. The safety relationship. You stay in a partnership that has very clearly expired, or you say yes to a commitment not because of love, but as a defense against the fear of being alone. You hold on to that partner, you hold on to that relationship, even though you know it's not aligned, because you don't want to leave yourself exposed to the fear that another connection might not come along. You don't want to feel lonely, so you stick through that relationship because it's familiar, it's somewhat comfortable, even though it might not be what you want. And letting go of it would mean stepping into the potential that another relationship that is more aligned may never come your way. Let's look at another scenario. The financial hoarding. This scenario stems from scarcity. You delay your joy, your rest, even your dreams for one more year of your salary as a defense against a hypothetical market crash. But is your money buying you freedom? Or is it just a more expensive cage? Let's look at a third scenario where this can show up. The resume padding promotion. You take a title you don't even like because you're afraid of looking perhaps stagnant or being seen as replaceable, but you don't even want the job. You're trying to hide behind a title instead of standing in your value. These are all scenarios where we allow fear to lead the way in our decision making, where we make decisions that lead us to building a bunker. But when we move out of the bunker and we start making decisions based on sovereignty and alignment, we start building a home. And what a home can provide that a bunker can't is very clear. A home has windows. A bunker is windowless. You're safe in the bunker, but you're blind. With a home, the windows offer perspective. When you make an aligned choice, you have the perspective to see the unfolding landscape and your next move. Nourishment. A home has a kitchen. A bunker has rations, just enough to keep you going. The kitchen in the home allows aligned decisions that actually feed you. They give you energy back instead of draining your battery. Homes also have hospitality. They have a front porch. Bunkers are locked from the inside. They breed isolation. The home with the porch, it's built for connection. When you aren't living in fear, you can finally let the right people, the right job, the right opportunity in. A bunker is also a fixed size. There's no growth. A home has a yard. You can build a garden. It's designed for you to plant seeds, to change, to unfold. Sometimes we make major life moves and decisions, not because we want the destination, but because we are terrified of a hypothetical what if. But when you let fear drive the car, you might arrive safely, but you'll realize you're in a city you never wanted to visit. So how do you move from a place of making decisions based from fear and one to make decisions based out of sovereignty? One of the first things that I do is I do the contraction versus expansion test. When I'm making a major decision, I think about the decision and then I check in and see if the choice that I'm making feels like an opening, even if it's scary. Does it feel like it's on the way where I want to be? For example, when I think about this podcast, although this podcast requires a lot of energy and time and effort, when I think about it, my chest expands. And that expansion is a clear signal to me that I am doing something that is aligned with my soul mission. But if your chest is contracting, if you're bracing for a hit, that is something to pay attention to. Fear-based decisions feel heavy, like a heavy obligation, not an expansive opportunity. You're running away from a threat rather than toward a goal. The second thing that I do is I ask myself, if I knew I was untouchable and perfectly secure right now, would I still choose this? If the answer is no, fear, I know, is in the driver's seat. So if I'm in a romantic relationship that I know has expired, but I knew 100% that I would step into another relationship that was better and more aligned for me, would I still choose this one? If the answer is no, then I have a clear indication of what I need to do next, which is to make decisions from sovereignty, not fear. And lastly, I remind myself of the cost of the bunker. Every yes that I make that is born out of fear is a no to my authentic path. And if I continue building a bunker, I am making it that more difficult, creating that many more walls that make it harder for what is aligned to come into my home, to come into my space, for me to receive it. As you navigate your own unfolding this week, I invite you to perform a quick architecture check on your current decisions. Use the expansion test. Does the choice that you're making feel like your chest is opening up, or does it feel like you're bracing? And ask yourself that untouchable question. If I knew for a fact that I was 100% secure, valued, safe right now, would I still be making this decision? Would I still want this? Fear is a great consultant for survival, but it is a terrible CEO for your life. And true security isn't the absence of change. It's the presence of self. So stop building for the what ifs and start building for the what is true. I encourage you, if you're building a bunker, to ask yourself, what do I need to do to start building a home? Thank you, friend, for joining me today. I look forward to continuing to meet you in your unfolding. Until the next one, take care.